It gets better, she'd said. It gets better for those of us who live long enough to see it get better. Hope for Lyra McKee was a passionate imperative and a political strategy. In 2017, she gave a TEDx talk in Belfast about how uncomfortable conversations can change and even save lives. Don't tell me there is no hope, she'd said, because for some young LGBT people, hope is all there is. She was walking proof of the power of hope herself. As an isolated young teenage lesbian, she'd contemplated suicide. She went on to find her vocation as a writer, to be popular and respected, and to meet the woman who would become the love of her life. It got better for Lyra, but tragically, not for long. She should have been well into the writing of her book, Lost Boys, by now. She should have been engaged to Sarah, delighted that finally the law they'd campaigned for had been introduced, and that they could marry in Northern Ireland. But just 2 years after she spoke about the power of hope, Lyra McKee is dead. She was murdered in Derry by dissident Republicans on the eve of the 21st anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement, for which an overwhelming majority of people in both parts of Ireland had voted. Lyra was 29 when she died. She was born in 1990 and grew up in a working-class family on a long North Belfast street known during the Troubles as the Murder Mile. There was very little money, but she was surrounded by love. In a blog she wrote in 2014, she remembered the fear of violence that had circumscribed her world as a child. The streets she was warned not to walk down, the individuals she was told to avoid. This place has come so far, she wrote. She believed, however, that the obsession with the constitutional status of Northern Ireland that still characterised the main political parties was blinding them to the realities of life for the young. The Good Friday Agreement has created a new generation of young people freed from the cultural constraints and prejudices of the one before, she argued. It used to be that being a unionist or a nationalist was an accident of birth. You didn't decide, the decision was made for you. Looking back at her own eclectic circle of friends, she said that times had changed. Whilst I saw the tail end of the conflict, I didn't see enough of it to make me bitter towards what's called the other side. I saw enough that peace and moving forward seemed like the only options. Most children of the Good Friday Agreement generation, those born after 1998, saw no conflict at all. A consensus was slowly but surely emerging that the national question was holding us back. She and her friends were preoccupied primarily with economic survival. I'm worried about paying this month's bills. Work is hard to come by. The cost of third-level education is so high that the door has practically been closed on working-class young people. I don't want a united Ireland or a stronger union. I just want a better life.